1.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. Welcome to the Level With You show, episode 71, coming at you at the unusual time of 7:45 Eastern Time on Wednesday. Why are we recording now, you ask? Because earlier we got a chance to see the final PS5 showcase before the console launches this November 12th. We know the price. It's $499 for the disc drive, $399 for the digital edition, and we are going to be talking all about the games that they showed. All right, back half of the show, we'll get to the usual what we've been playing, yada yada, but big stuff happening, big stuff popping off at Sony. How you guys doing? Today I'm joined by Kenny Castro.
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Normally around this time is where I'm kind of shutting down.
Oh, I feel you.
Finally caught me in the middle of one of my big old yawns.
And Tyler Hadley, what's going on, man?
Hey everybody, how we doing?
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Anthony Duart.
What's going on? I definitely was not looking at Donkey Kong porn. That's you, not me.
Yeah.
Anthony,
All right,
Anthony, I don't know how you say that this is like your wind down time. You're like up till 2 a.m. almost every day.
I think where I went wrong is I was working on commissions, and then I was like, oh, I got half an hour till the podcast. I'm going to lay down, rest my eyes. That's where I made a mistake. Because for 10 minutes, I was just like, oh, this is just so good.
Well,
I'll be good. I'll get there. Just got to move the blood a little bit.
You can go to Dunkin' Donuts. You gotta get a free coffee today, apparently.
What?
Yeah.
I had to pay for my coffee today.
I think
It's
it's
bullshit.
on the. Well, I think it's on the app. You get a free coffee.
I did. Wait, no. The sales guy paid for the coffee today, so I got a free coffee today, technically. Anyway, but
it's because they feel bad for the Celtics. They're like, let's take care of New England today. Celtics lost.
It was a tough loss too.
Sure.
That was. Did you guys catch that game one?
No, I like
A little
sports.
bit.
It was good stuff so far. I think the Bulls are going to have it, but the Celtics put up a really good fight, so I certainly could see them coming back. But
Now you're right,
yeah.
man. Black Bulls they're training right now. They're gonna fight the Devils soon, so we'll see. I think the Bulls
Yeah.
can do it though. I think the Bulls got this.
I get that reference.
Yeah.
Black Clover, right?
Ooh, you got it.
Yeah. I think you're flying over my head. I'm right there with you, bud.
Yeah,
Get it because they play on brooms.
Speaking of playing on brooms, we got a first look at the Harry Potter game. We got a look at Final Fantasy 16. Lots of surprises. I think that really felt most like an E3 conference out of all of the shows that we've seen as far as, I don't know, overall hype. I felt like I think it was smart, even though it was frustrating that they waited till the very end to show the price, because kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. Like, are they really going to not tell us again? But they did. So I think we'll just get into it now, guys. Just hop right into the topic of the show. PS5 showcase. Let me hear your thoughts on if it met your expectations.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty cool showcase. I mean, there were games that they announced that I wasn't particularly expecting would be announced. Like Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, they opened with that too.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Same. I thought it was like Dragon's Dogma at first. The first like shot we got of it, that was like a new Dragon's Dogma game.
I thought it was Dragon Age.
Yeah, I was getting some like hardcore Witcher vibes from it. I knew it wasn't going to be like a Witcher game, but like just the colors and everything like reminded me of The Witcher. Like some of the movement and the combat kind of was like Witcher-esque. I was like, what is it?
I think that's cool. They're bringing it back to like the medieval fantasy setting versus like the futuristic, how they kind of are going.
Yeah, definitely. It felt certainly like a little bit, throwback to the early Final Fantasies / maybe, I don't know, I haven't played FF9 very much, but sort of like FF9, FF12, sort of Western history type of fantasy. I think the combat looked really engaging. And one thing I was trying to like figure out is whether or not this is maybe the first Final Fantasy without party members.
I hope not.
No.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I mean, from the trailer, I got that vibe too. But I was really hoping. I was like, But part of the Final Fantasy, like the draw, or at least to me, of Final Fantasy is getting your different party members and
and the camaraderie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did just knock the roster down in 15 from like, I don't know, the usual like 7, 8, depending on which game you're playing. I know Final Fantasy 6 had like a lot of party members you could have with you, like 12 plus you could have by the end of the game. But in 15, they only had 4.
And technically in 10 was only 3.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's right.
So Kenny, what did you overall think as a Xbox first gamer? Did it seem like the grass was greener over on our side, or are you still good?
I'm gonna grab both.
Yeah, I know.
It definitely met my expectations. I'd say. I was very excited. I kind of like, open up with the Final Fantasy 16 and have it be console exclusive. I was like, fuck, you know.
Except also the little asterisk was like also on PC.
And PC,
Yeah,
don't forget.
exactly.
Yeah,
P-
PC has won the console wars.
PC
Oh,
Master
yeah.
Race.
PC
Um,
masturbate.
So I think definitely it was a great event, right? And it definitely showcased more of games we already knew about, and also hit us games that we weren't, like Tyler said, we weren't expecting. Like I wasn't expecting to walk in to see a Final Fantasy 16. Like I'm on Twitter on and off, and I saw nothing of it. I saw also nobody talking about, hey, we're gonna heard rumors we're gonna see Hogwarts Legacy, you know.
mhm.
So definitely caught me from left field with some of the games we did see. How it ends it right after the price reveal, I was expecting though. Um,
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that
yes,
because
yes.
there was certainly a nice little tease at the end,
Oh
which I
really?
don't.
Yeah, fuck! I should have stayed watching. I shut it off after the price. I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, really? Yep. They had
Yeah.
one more thing, Anthony. You got to know, there's always one more thing.
Well, it was like a live stream, and there's like other people talking. I was like, I don't want to listen to the IGN guys talk. I listen to my friends talk. I'll do that later.
So me personally, I thought that the games that they showed for the most part looked really good. I think it was nicely paced. What I personally am still a little frustrated that we don't know about is how PS4 backwards compatibility is going to work. We've heard sort of mixed messaging on it'll be the 100 most popular games. Oh no, it'll be almost all of them, or it's just leaving me a little bit with anxiety that they're not coming out and just saying it. Like Xbox has been so great about that. So a little bit frustrating there. I maybe wanted to take a look at the UI. Sort of think that would have been a neat thing to throw in there, but you gotta still
Didn't
have
they?
more.
Did they tease or not tease? Didn't they show that was like, oh, the day launch or launch day, you can download, these PS4 games digitally.
Oh,
Like,
right,
is
that
that
was
The PlayStation Plus collection.
yeah? So is that what they mean by backwards compatibility, or is
Yes,
that just a
that
thing?
that's what I took of it.
Mhm.
That PlayStation Plus collection was our backwards PlayStation, um, compatibility.
Nah, I think
that
there's definitely
would
gonna be more than that.
yeah.
I
I
hope
I,
so.
th- I hope so too, because I mean, while that is neat and it's something that they sort of, back in the PS3 days, they had the instant collection or whatever, and it wasn't nearly as vast as what they showed would be included in this. But I think it's I don't know, maybe they're pivoting away from PS Now, because if they're just going to be, maybe PS Plus has better branding recognition, and
Mhm.
like really, what's the point of PS Now if
Yeah.
you're getting another collection elsewhere, besides streaming. So it'll be interesting to see where they take that.
Yeah, I agree. That'll be interesting to see what they do. I really hope it's 'cause that's what I was wondering. I was like, if you can download these for PlayStation Plus, if I just have the disc for like say Persona 5 or God of
Mhm.
War, can I just pop that in and play
So
that
And
and stuff?
I hope so. Yeah, like because if they're claiming it's backwards compatible and the PS4 discs don't work, then that's a major
Yeah,
problem for me.
same.
Um, okay, so what about you, Tyler? What was something that you wanted to see that wasn't there, or was it just perfect?
I want to see some more bug snacks. That's what I
Yeah.
want to
Oh yeah.
see.
That's right.
I think that's like one game that's everyone's just like on their like what the fuck radar, and I don't know. I think they could have included it and provided some more gameplay and details on what Bug Snacks is, and some people might have hated it. Some people would have loved it.
That's how they should have closed the show. And one more thing.
Bug
Yeah.
Exclusive bug skin for your PlayStation.
Yeah, they did show it in a sizzle reel right at the beginning.
There's the other
But
guys going like, oh, he's like eating that thing.
in
Like
the thing,
stylized guy.
hands turn to strawberries, that type
Yeah,
of thing.
that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Okay, so I think overall the four of us all feel like it was a pretty solid showing that didn't disappoint. I think there were some nice surprises thrown in there. So right off the bat, we've already given a fair amount of time to Final Fantasy. Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think we saw this coming. I think that no one expected it to look that good.
Yeah.
No,
Last
definitely not.
Harry Potter RPG game that I know of was Harry Potter 3 for the Game Boy Advance. And that was like Golden Sun style turn-based. It was really funny. But it was cool for a Harry Potter game.
Yeah, I mean,
Harry Potter games have a long.
Because what, the Harry Potter like RPG was leaked maybe like 4 months ago or something like that, and so people were.
It was like 2 years ago.
Was it? Was it that long ago?
Yeah, I really think it was like 2 years ago.
No,
Yeah,
no, they're definitely like somewhat recently.
ones?
There was like a screenshot or like footage or something of it that was leaked.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what Tyler's talking about, but when it was first mentioned in the public, Wiley's right. It was like a year and a half, 2 years ago that they were like, "Oh, they've been working on a Harry Potter game and a Harry Potter RPG," but we got that the screenshots of like gameplay footage, like I want to say like within the last 6 months.
All right. Well, what this game seems to be is sort of a. It takes place, but well before any of the events of the series, late 1800s says early on, which is like before, Dumbledore or any of that shenanigans went down. So
What years do the Harry Potter novels take place in movies? What do they specify the time frame? Because I never really.
I think it's just supposed to be modern day. So starting in the 90s, I guess, late 90s. But seems to be a sort of action RPG where you're choosing your class, likely your house. I don't know who knows if the Sorting Hat's gonna listen to you or you just have to take what you get. It's like, too bad, you're Hufflepuff. Deal with
I
it.
actually was thinking of that when I saw that part of the trailer. I was like, maybe they'll have you fill out like what, kind of like what Pokemon Mystery Dungeon does at the beginning, where they'll like give you a questionnaire to fill out. They're like, oh, we're gonna ask you some questions, and depending on your answer, it'll be your starter Pokemon. So like maybe something like that.
It's an interesting one to tackle because, like, such a big part of the game or of the books and movies is that you don't have a choice. Like, it reads your character, and
Pretty much, if you don't get Gryffindor or Slytherin, nobody fucking cares.
yeah,
Right.
pretty much. What's your guys' house?
I don't know. I'm not a Harry Potter guy.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I don't know
I'd
what I
love
would.
to be
What I
You've
would
seen
fall
all the
into.
movies. Don't lie.
I've seen all the
Raven.
movies, but if I were to like give myself a house, gosh, I don't know. I mean,
I need to know
what house do I want to be in? I want to be in Gryffindor, of course, because they're the cool kids.
Yeah, I was told.
I don't want to be a bully like Slytherin. But I don't know. Maybe I'm a Ravenclaw.
Kenny's definitely Slytherin.
Maybe I'm a Ravenclaw or something.
No, I'm Ravenclaw. You can be Gryffindor. Anthony's Hufflepuff.
No, I mean I want to be Hagrid. Kenny can go leave the Hagrid house. I'm gonna live out in the woods and date a really tall lady. Someone find me a tall lady in the woods, please.
So yeah, I think that it looked far along. We got a 2021 release date. Nothing more specific than that. This is not a PlayStation exclusive. It will be coming to other platforms, and I thought that it looked pretty impressive. And as a big fan of the books, it's been a long time. I'm not a diehard or anything, but I definitely am intrigued and will likely be playing it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what else you're able to do in the game. I mean, obviously I imagine there's some kind of like skill tree that probably like impacts your spells and like the type of magic you're casting and stuff like that. And it'll be interesting to see kind of like what the quest lines are, and it goes into detail about like, oh, there's so much more outside the walls of Hogwarts and exploring just kind of like the magical universe that
I got very big like raid vibes, like dungeon raid vibes when they said that. I was like, ooh.
I got some Persona vibes. Like, I think that you'll be maxing out your wizarding friend links and stuff, and
yeah, maybe.
Really getting to. Are you gonna be playing all 7 years? That's another interesting question. Like, do you start as a 10-year-old and come out like ready to work for the Ministry of Magic, or is it just year one? Time will tell.
That would be cool though.
Time will tell.
It will be sweet.
All right, moving on. Next thing we saw, we got a good chunk of Spider-Man Miles Morales holiday 2020 release date still not confirmed for launch. Kenny, what did you think of this?
That one looked very cool.
When did
Uh,
Spider-Man get electric powers? Like, what is that?
That's actually Miles Morales' part of his powers.
Um,
Because he gets turns into Spider-Man via a different spider. A
An
more
electric spider.
a more mutated one.
That's pretty
Uh,
cool. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, the original Spider-Man's sweet, but you need something else that's cool. Because I haven't seen anything about Miles Morales, and then he was like being
Yeah.
held up in the trailer by those two guys. He was just like,
Yeah, he's got like electricity and he can turn invisible.
I was like, when the fuck did he do? I was like, when can Spider-Man fucking shoot electricity? This is sweet. He's like Sonic the Hedgehog, but with spider webs. He's shooting all over the place. It was really cool. I was like,
he's got a Chaos Emerald in his back pocket.
That's why he's going so fast.
Must be it.
This one's definitely I feel one of those that makes me feel like, wow, like if I don't have the PlayStation at least by the end of the year, I'm gonna be looking at other people talking and playing Miles Morales and feeling jealous.
Yeah, so definitely a system seller.
Yeah, that definitely a system seller for sure. It actually even made me say, damn, like I am over here sometimes feeling like what game to play, and I still haven't beaten Spider-Man on PS4. What am I doing?
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
I know.
And strong too. I thought that the gameplay of Miles Morales looked really fun. Definitely seems like they've ratcheted up the combo options, and that set piece was definitely reminiscent of several of the movies. It's like it's got him. Like I got flashes of Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, of Homecoming. Just like, oh, they took that from there. Just how many different ways can you use spider webs to stop people from being killed? So no blame on them rehashing some stuff, but I thought it looked really cool. I wish it was confirmed for launch, which is November 12th, if you missed that bit of info. But yeah, I mean, what a smart decision to just come right out with the follow-up to Sony's, at the time, best-selling exclusive ever, 3 years, 2.5 year turnaround time with this sort of expansion slash 1.5, whatever you want to call it, but it's very strong first impression gameplay
So this is
wise.
its own game. It's not like it's not the Spider-Man we got on PlayStation 4. It's its own.
It's its own game, yeah. Whether or not Miles Morales will be the only playable character, I guess we'll see. I'd imagine so, but yeah, it's a full-on game. They did say that maybe it's not going to be like as expansive as the first Spider-Man, like sort of think of it as a Uncharted: The Lost Legacy type of thing. But we'll see. I mean, looked definitely triple A and impressive. Okay, moving on. Next game, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Kenny, did you get a chance to see this one? I'm just asking you because you're now the Call of Duty guy, believe it or not.
I did see it, and you know what? I'm this weekend give it a shot. I'll be installing it tomorrow, and I'll be checking it out Friday. Especially since I have Friday off from work.
Ooh,
What? I want Friday off
lucky.
from work.
Same.
Do you have it off too, Tyler?
I do have it off.
What is the meaning of this? We just had
Yeah,
a
what the
free
hell?
weekend.
So
No,
you're the
it's
cool kids.
Yeah, typically they have our work has a picnic in September, but because of COVID, they're not doing that, so they just gave everybody a day off.
Parent teacher day.
Should have done a big Zoom call where everybody's potluck, bring their own.
Eat in front of the camera for everybody. Oh, this is really good. Oh, hey, try some.
Everybody send a plastic baggie to everyone in the mail.
I can honestly say, had we sent out an email saying that we were all gonna jump onto a Zoom call Friday to hold our yearly picnic together through Zoom, me and Tyler would have gotten hate mail.
Probably.
Because at this point in time, people practically sum us together with the picnic.
Yeah, we're like the picnic planners usually.
Really?
Pretty much.
That's funny.
So they would have been like, "Are you serious? A Zoom call? We couldn't get the day off at least."
Alrighty. So Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, like Kenny was saying, this weekend, upcoming weekend, is the alpha will be free to play on PS4. exclusively. So that's pretty neat. Get an early look at that. What we saw in the presentation was a lengthy set piece moment from the campaign. Had an RC car blowing up a plane,
Yeah, that
flashing
was pretty
back to a
dope.
person. Yeah, that was a neat moment. I don't think it looked like drastically better than Modern Warfare or anything, but that's because Modern Warfare is one of the best looking games ever. So there's kind of a ceiling, especially just 1 year separated. But I hope it's good. I mean, I think Modern Warfare is a sort of benchmark as far as the campaign and multiplayer has gone for Call of Duty. I think that pretty much regained a lot of fans and has had sustained support, especially due to Warzone. So it'll be interesting to see if people move over to Cold War or if a lot of folks stick with Modern Warfare. What's your prediction on that? Anybody?
I think, I mean, from what I saw with the single player, I mean, it looks really good. I think people would move over. They did announce that they have a new zombies coming to this game, so zombies
Right.
always gets a lot of people's attention.
You-
Mhm.
But yeah, we'll
Which
see.
is kind
Like,
of. I was just gonna say, Zombies is like a first-person shooter roguelike, essentially, right?
yeah, kind of. Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, I played them just not a whole lot. I think Black Ops 4 had it, and I messed around with that some over at a friend's house. But moving on, Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. Damn, this shit looks scary.
And she's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna play now."
He's like, I'm not gonna play.
It
Oh,
looks like
it's gonna go into my backlog for sure. I'm gonna get bought because I support.
just ignore it.
Am I gonna beat it? No, I'm not.
Like I was getting some Resident Evil 4 vibes with the sort of crazy villager feeling.
I'm gonna call it. That's probably they probably brought the Plagas back. That's probably what it is in 4 or from 4 in this one. It's also
Oh,
weird they still have like Mia and the other guy.
Chris.
Is it? Oh, because Chris Redfield. Then there's I forget his name. The main character you play as for 7.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Ethan?
7. Oh, yeah.
Ethan.
He does get brought back for this one. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one. Well, I mean, I thought the vibe was certainly where they want it to be, going back to staying where 7 left off and the horror roots. I'm glad that it's first person, that we have the remakes that are so well done, and our third person, and then we get the new stuff a little bit more immersive, a little bit more scary.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that's a next gen only title. I don't know if it's going to be playable on the Xbox One or not. It'll be interesting to see. But I know that Capcom kind of pushed for it to be next gen early on in development because I guess they were trying to do some next gen things.
You think they'll try and bring it to VR like they did with 7?
Yeah, I think that's actually already been confirmed.
That's crazy.
See if will Resident Evil 8 have VR? We shall see. Yes, it
Oh,
says.
cool.
Yeah, so that will be very scary. Did you guys ever play 7 in VR?
No.
No, but I watched somebody play it, and I was like, I don't want any part of this.
Tyler should for October.
Oh, jeez.
should.
That would be
Coming
so scary. I'd pee my pants.
I would too. I'd have a heart attack probably.
Tyler, you almost pee your pants in that on the rails until dawn game.
That looks scary. That stupid clown one
Yeah.
for VR. I don't like that.
Rush of Blood is the one I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, yeah, there's that one.
No, thank you. That's spooky.
So next game, Devil May Cry 5 Ultimate Edition, or what was it? Special Edition, coming to PS5 digitally at launch. Looks like, I don't know, looked like better graphics, some more playable characters. It's not. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll have enough for me to want to replay it. But as a game that I sort of played and then forgot about, I don't know if it's something that I'm really itching to get back to.
That's what they do with it seems like that's what they've been doing with every Devil May Cry, starting with 3. At least when I first played it or got into the series, it's at 3, and they're like, oh, I started at 3 Special Edition because it was like $20 for PlayStation 2. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the only thing added to it was you could just play through the campaign again as Virgil, and then 4 did the same thing, like digital. You can do the complete edition, and then I guess 5's doing the same thing.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Capcom likes to re-release the same game multiple times.
Yes, they do.
Just throwing a championship, a turbo, a hoots and what's it, whatever you do.
Arcade edition, Devil May Cry 5.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what do you guys think of Oddworld Soulstorm?
Dude, I didn't even know what to think about that. Like, I didn't really understand it, like what it was, and
I never really had
I'm
such
like,
a grip to play the series.
it's a strange one because it's been around since PS1 days. It had its time on the Xbox with Stranger's Wrath. I feel like that was a
That looked
original.
interesting. I remember that being on like G4 and reviewing on an X-Plane. I was like, oh, it's cool. You get like a bumblebee gun, or they're like crossbows or whatever.
Then they came out with the remake of Abe's Odyssey called New and Tasty a couple years ago, which I think was mostly well received. Now, Lauren Lanning, who I think has been part of the franchise since the beginning, you know, he's coming out, one of the only humans featured in the showcase, talking about this new game that seems like it's got a pretty big budget, but it still appears like it's a 2D sort of platformer management sim. I don't know, like it. I'm surprised at how kind of all out that they're going with it seems to be.
It's definitely very. It looks very stylized. I like the aesthetic to it. It's very. I don't know. It's very wild, surreal. The little guys. They're like, I'm hungry. Give me a sandwich. Oh yeah, my tummy's rumbling.
Oh yeah, that was funny at the end. I like that.
That's what the first game is pretty famous for. Is like you'd have your little guys. Like when you're younger too, especially a lot of people probably have nostalgia for the PlayStation 1 one game. They're just like, you like fart at them and you could burp and they'd be like,
yeah, the game has a fart button. Wonder if
yeah, that's all the game needs.
Okay, so next one. This is a series that I don't know anything about. I have a feeling that at least one of you has played a Five Nights at Freddy's.
I mean, I've played it. I never really got into like all of them. Like I think I played like Five Nights at Freddy's 1 just for like the balls at some point. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of like lore and stuff too, like with Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, you go on YouTube and look at game theories, like whole playlist of Five Nights at Freddy's videos. There's like a whole like backstory and lore and stuff like that to it as well.
Is it supposed to be really scary?
I mean, it's all jump scary.
Yeah, it's jump scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. The voice of the narrator of that trailer sounded pretty scary.
Yeah, I like the deep guy. He's like, it's like, it's spooky because he's probably not the bad guy.
But they're really, really popular with kids, right?
Yeah,
like younger kids who want to get scared. It's kind of like a horror game for kids.
Yeah, it's like Slender Man type thing. Or have you guys heard of the game Bendy and the Ink Machine?
Yeah, it's along the same lines of that. Came out in that wave.
Gotcha.
But it's it'll be interesting to see. That was one I was surprised to see that they included with the PlayStation 5 reveal. Was a Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right. Is definitely not something I saw coming in. I guess it has a big audience. And the next one, and holy crap, Demon Souls! How good did Demon Souls look? It looks so good.
It does look really good.
So good. I really just wish they had put the UI on the screen with it too, because it's like, this looks amazing. But I would love to see it like with the stamina and health meter.
I know that was one of my questions. Is like, is it actually like not going to show that, or
that would be? I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm like, what am I gonna?
No, they have to. Yeah.
It looked really good though, like really, really good.
Seriously good. Definitely looked next gen. And got to look at some of the bosses. Got to look at
massive bosses.
Yeah, and like that looked really, really good.
Was the Asylum Demon the first boss in that game, or was that no? Because that was Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
was it called Asylum Demon?
Honestly, I played Demon Souls all the way through like a couple years ago, but I do not remember who the first boss is. I remember a bunch of other ones, like the guy with a massive shield. He was a pretty standout boss that we got a chance to look at. The fire spider type enemy that you got to like dodge through the hallways. I'm very excited. It's this Blue Point. If they pull this off, that will be next gen Dark Souls, man. Like, can't ask for much more.
And it might come out on launch.
Yes, That's what Jeff Keighley apparently has tweeted. Mr. Keighley himself, the one with the scoops, he tweeted that Demon Souls, I'm sorry, I'm Googling right now, is a launch title.
That's gonna be.
I don't
really
know why
sweet.
they didn't mention that in the showcase.
Right, yeah. It's like,
Maybe they
who knows?
put the video together, but yeah.
Maybe that'll
But
be
anyway,
some
that was
signs for Bloodborne too. If that's, I mean, they're having the Dark Souls remake as a launch title because they had what Bloodborne was a launch title for PS4.
no, it wasn't. It came out March 2015. PS4 came out at the end of 2013. It was kind of the first awesome game for it, though. Like the first exclusive that really stood out. So closing out the show, we had to be told that Fortnite was coming to the PS4 or PS5, and then we got a tease.
Wait, did you want to touch upon it all? Deathloop at all? Because that was in there again.
Ooh, that looks cool.
Right, I totally actually missed Deathloop.
Yeah, I
sure,
I mean, I feel like we've been seeing Deathloop a lot, and like, it's not exclusive to PlayStation, right? Or is it? Yeah. So in that case, in all of their recent showcases and PS plays and stuff like that, I feel like they've been showcasing this game a lot. And I haven't really known what to really like feel about it, whether or not I think it looks cool or not. But I think the more I see it, the more interesting it looks to me. Kind of reminds me kind of just like of a fast pace, maybe like a Mirror's Edge type of thing, where you can like rewind and stuff like that after you get somewhere. And
I know Kenny's been hyped for this for a while. I think he gave it his like most impressive show, the first or most impressive game, the last Sony show. What do you think of the showing here?
I actually liked it. I expanded a little more on it, and gave us more. At least showed us a little more on it than what they did last time, and I'm still just as hyped for it as I was the first time. So
Word.
This is a game I like. When I get the PS5, and if this is out, that's a must buy for me right afterwards.
Cool. I think that it looks definitely pretty, like, very good. I want the tone of it is a little like, I don't know if they're going for like a Hotline Miami type of vibe, or if they're trying to distinguish itself from Dishonored, maybe too much. As somebody that has just recently played Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, and looking at this gameplay where you're warping around, and it's very reminiscent of it. Just the tonally part of the trailer didn't really click for me, but maybe that was just, I don't know, the editing or whatnot. It just seemed a little like, look how cool I am, look at how stylish everything is. Isn't it cool? Isn't it stylish? But I think it's got
for that like 60s or 70s spy. I got sty in my eye. Can't talk. Spy aesthetic. That's what. There we go. That's the word.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's kind of like, if it is gonna be sort of roguelike in regards to you play through it, like, because you're only playing through like a day or something like that is what it kind of emphasized.
Yeah, you got 8 people to kill, and then that's that.
Yeah, so you play through a day and however you want, and you have to try and kill everybody, and it emphasizes like, oh, well, if you don't do something this way, then so and so isn't gonna go and do this other thing. So you have to like make sure you're doing this or whatever. And
that did seem like it can get a little complicated, but it seems like the goal is to kind of like do things in a certain order, that you like get everybody together in one room at one time, or like get everybody together at once in one spot, or most people.
I wonder. It's it'll be interesting because they're such a big part of their games in the past are meticulous level design, and if there are some things that change from run to run, if it is in fact a roguelike, it's going to be I think a challenge for them, but maybe something that they wanted to give a shot. So that brings us up to what the show concluded with, which was the pricing: $4.99 for the regular with the disc drive, and $3.99 for the all digital. What's everybody going in for? I know Anthony's going to get the discs, but
oh yeah,
yeah, I mean, for I don't know, I'm really on the fence about it. I think like for the extra $100, it's like why not just get the disc
disc.
drive? I mean, it's going to be around for 4 years probably before they release maybe like a pro edition or something like that. So
Yeah.
I think it
Mhm.
kind of just like pays for itself
Yeah,
at
for,
that
for
point.
for sure. What about you,
Hmm.
Kenny?
Well, it's a tough one for me because I could keep because originally I was making the PlayStation the system I only go with the digital for.
Hmm.
But like you see, I'm kind of leaning on the side as digital, just like Sky in the chat, because I game share. So it'll all depend on what's the game share situation with the PS5. I
Hmm.
game share on the PS5 and on the PS4 and on the Xbox One with my brother, brother best friend, and it all depends. We're both gonna pick up both systems. If the game share um situation is still the same for these next gens, why not save myself the 100 and go digital with the only digital because that's all we do is buy
Hmm.
digital so we could share.
But you might not be able to
Yeah.
play all the games the PS4 games that you have disc for.
I'm not getting rid of the PS4.
Well,
I
true.
have two of them, so
Fair point. Fair point. Um, well, me personally, I'm about 50-50 digital, physical. Me and Tyler game share. I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing next gen. I know they don't want it to be. I don't even think they realize that they're doing it.
They
doing
have
what?
they got no.
That they're doing that's people are game sharing. Like, when I was buying my Xbox at the Microsoft store a couple years ago, they were like, "Don't you know you can game share? It's real cool."
yeah.
Um,
But didn't they
Xbox
make that point at like a E3 a couple years ago? Like, this is how you share games on PS4, and they're like, here you go. And it was like making fun of the Xbox, where it's like, okay, game share.
well, that's talking about physical copies. Like I'm talking about, you know, and yes, that was E3 2013, and that was a big like mic drop moment for Sony because at the time, Microsoft was like the theory was that you bought a license for the game, and it was sort of like tied to that console. Like you couldn't necessarily bring it over to a friend's house or anything like that. But they reverse course on that. Um, so God of War tease, we saw it at the end. Looks like it's called God of War Ragnarok. No footage or anything, but it did say 2021. Are they going to stick to that?
Hmm. What do you think? I think that it's gonna get delayed if COVID doesn't let up. I think they're hoping for the best is that hey, it'll subside, we'll get a vaccine, and we'll be back in offices working again. But if they still have to keep on developing these games remotely, I
Hmm.
definitely believe it's gonna get delayed.
I think it's surprising that we saw this and not any more Horizon, because you'd think that that one was farther along. I mean, Horizon 1 came out before um, God of War, so they've had more time to work on the sequel, but it probably will. I don't know. I was a little surprised we didn't see more Forbidden Wests. All right, any closing thoughts on the PlayStation 5 showcase before we briefly talk about the games that we have been playing this past week?
Yeah, I
Cool.
think overall, I mean, I think the only other thing we didn't mention is that they announced the PS Plus collection for PS5, which is going to include a lot of hit titles from PlayStation 4.
Right, we did
I mean
briefly touch
that's
on it,
nice.
Yeah,
but
like backwards compatibility almost.
yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
don't know what that's gonna be.
and I think it's interesting to see whether or not they're going to keep going with PS Now. Like having that feature makes me beg the question.
Hmm.
All right, that has been the discussion on the PlayStation 5 showcase, which wrapped up a few hours ago. Now let's move on to the part of the show where we discuss what we've been playing. I know that Kenny has recently completed the Avengers campaign.
Ooh.
He wasn't here last week. He couldn't give his thoughts, so he's here now. Kenny, how was the campaign of the Avengers?
The campaign's pretty. I actually enjoyed the campaign. It's not. I don't think it spoils anything, but it's told through the eyes of Kamala Khan, who is Miss Marvel. You kind of follow her for a good percentage of the story as she's going through these events and trying to reassemble the Avengers.
Do you play as her for the majority of it?
A good for I want to say at least 60%, 60-70% of the game. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so then how do they introduce, this is when you play as Hulk, this is when you play as Iron Man.
Yeah, so just you'll go through missions, and she'll find Banner, she'll find these characters, and after she does, you'll end up controlling them for a little bit before you're able to either go back to controlling Kamala again, and so forth. So it does pretty decent with pacing and just getting you through. They give you all these side missions you could play throughout the campaign, or you could just rush right through the regular story, because it's all scaled to your level and your power. It's all scaled to your power level, not your actual level. So your gear score. So
Ah, the
all the
old gear
enemies,
score.
yep, all the enemies are kind of, or will just scale to your gear score. So you could kind of just never play as Hulk, and the missions that you play as the Hulk, his gear score could be 8, and all the enemies are going to be around 8 as well, power level.
Oh,
So
Okay, so the
not
leveling up is meaningless. I get it.
So yeah, well, it does. It's not gonna smack you in the wrist for not playing as every hero, for not
Word.
mixing it
Okay.
up. So it does well there. I will say that campaign was good. I enjoyed the villain. I enjoyed the just everything I went through, and even what it teases at the end of the story. I thought was
mhm.
cool, but the game then falls flat in post game.
Mm.
How so?
Um, all the missions become very repetitive. I would have enjoyed, because I feel like this game took like almost and became throughout a hybrid, like let's take the Destiny formula, but let's do it with the superheroes, right? You're not going to create your own Titan or your own whatever. Um, you're going to use one of these characters. You're going to be able to unlock cosmetics to make them look unique, apart from other people's Miss Marvel, other people's Hulk, and you'll also have skill trees that there'll be abilities that you could just mix up certain add-ons to it, and masteries on it, right? So it'll be geared to your play style. But I would say is just that I was hoping there would be like a raid in a sort, somewhere that there's this big boss we could just roll through, maybe take about 45 minutes to an hour to get to, and it'll be an intense fight, but there isn't.
So it's just waves of enemies, sort of generic
Generic
horde
missions.
modes.
Well, something like that. Yeah, it's like, oh, come, go to this space and destroy this or gather these files, and you'll go through the mission and get to it, and it'll just be the same. Sometimes coupling of enemies, and you'll go through it. It has its daily missions to earn faction points, for either the alliance or the Inhumans, and you'll do those things, but I don't know. Right now, I'm feeling like there's not enough for me to just sit there and grind out and get to the max power level of 150,
Hmm.
and also the max regular level of 50. But we'll see. They've been updating it, quite a few times so far, and they've been announcing that they hear what the people are saying, and that they'll have the first DLCs coming out in October. I think we're at the end of October. We're getting Kate Bishop, which is Hawkeye's daughter, as a new hero,
Okay.
and beginning of October we'll be getting our next story DLC.
Okay. Well, that's a
Oh,
pretty quick turnaround for
Exactly.
DLC. I'm curious. I have a question about the campaign. How is it structured as far as like, is it a hub world? Is it an open world? Is it just missions that you're selecting?
So it's you go to your war table, you open it up, and then
Of course, the war
you'll
table.
exactly, you'll hover over like cities or places around the world. You rotate the world, and then you'll click in, and then you'll see the missions that are available at the moment.
Gotcha.
And it'll have a check mark underneath the mission icon to show you that you completed it already. Um, it
Do you
does.
get rewards for completing things again?
Yeah, it'll tell you what you can get, your possible rewards. When you first do complete it, it's the initial rewards that you can't get again, but then it'll tell you, oh, you'll get rare or better pieces of armor for completing that. You know,
Mhm. It's probably
Gotcha.
randomized so that
and
you
you
know,
can always come back to these missions and run them again at a higher difficulty. So if you run it on the highest difficulty, it'll scale them to your power level plus 10, I believe, or something like that. Plus 10,
Mhm.
plus 20. So they'll be that much stronger
Hmm.
than last time. So it's ways to grind for better gear, get your guys up there.
I kind of want to get it. I don't like. I've been pushing it off, just like telling myself that, oh, everybody says the end game is repetitive, but
Mhm.
I just want another solid campaign playthrough, nice AAA story, wrap up in 10, 12 hours, which is what I hear that's about. And then I feel like, they'll support it. And even though it's getting a lot of sevens and eights, and you're a little, really pretty positive on the campaign and pretty negative on the post game, to me, I don't know, I'm like every day I'm like, bite the bullet and just buy it.
I would honestly say you give it like another week or two, right? And let's see if they drop it as a special. Even if
Yeah.
you're able to get it for $15 to $20 less than a regular price, I think at that point in time that's fine because then you're even closer to the next couple DLCs because I believe the character DLCs is you have to pay for, but the regular story DLCs are free.
Yeah, there's like, and
Yeah,
they're gonna start season passes and everything, and
there's
oh
a
boy.
mix of there's a mix, and I think, for you, you'll find interesting that each character has their own practically like battle pass that's free, you know?
that's
Um,
okay. But I think every additional character will have a paid battle pass. I think I
ex
heard it
I think so.
right. Okay.
So so with this one, right? So you'll go in and you'll see Thor and you'll see everything you can unlock for Thor throughout all his level, 1 through 40 of his character pass, right?
Hmm.
And those you literally have to do his daily objectives just to gain points in that.
Oh
So
wow. So you can't just like grind it out. You only can do so much a day.
yeah,
Huh.
unless they're planning on doing like an update and giving you other things that you can do. I'm pretty sure that there's also some daily missions that I haven't gotten to that might award extra points in there into the character pass. I
Mhm.
haven't gotten around to it. I know there's some special dailies where it's like you take on bosses. You could take on Master. You could take on the Abomination. Take on these big robots. Then they tend if you depending on what level, what difficulty you put these battles in, it could get very interesting, and you could die a couple times.
How have you been doing with multiplayer? You been matchmaking, playing with people you know?
I've been playing with people I know. A good chunk of my friends on the Xbox, they have it. So, the only problem is only two of us really finished the game. So
Mm.
so if you when you read into like the things you should do first in the game, it's always recommended not to jump into. So there's two things you could select. You could select the regular campaign, right, or the Avengers Initiative. What I didn't realize, and I came to find out afterwards, is that the Avengers Initiative is, yeah, you could go in, play multiplayer together, but that is the post game. Like you have access to post game before you beat campaign,
Oh
right?
wow.
Um, and that makes it tricky because you'll jump into that and you will kind of know already some spoilers to the campaign if you haven't beat the campaign yet, and you just press that.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Like I said, I want to play it. It's something that's been on my to-dos. Glad that somebody in the crew gave it its due in the show. So you guys picked up Code Vein. I think you surprised Anthony with a little gift. Be like, and we're like, we're playing this dog, anime Dark
Oh yeah.
Souls. So
It's been fun.
it's been fun. Give me a little
It's been
more.
it's been good so far. I beat Kenny. How far did you get? Because I know we played
Uh,
the first night we played. We dropped in. I made my character,
yep.
and then
We beat the first boss together.
yep, went through the first dungeon, beat the first boss. I made my character look very Kingdom Heartsy. I gave him a bunch of belts. It was really cool. It's
Dang.
super anime. I was very surprised.
You should stream it. I want to see some of it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we
It,
should.
it honestly like it gets a little. It was really weird. The difficulty, at least for me, it would spike and then it would like drop because it was pretty decent until I got to like right to the second boss, and then I was like, okay, maybe I gotta strategize a bit and dodge and block, and because dodging doesn't really, I guess depending on your style,
Mhm.
lets you either totally like swoop out of the way, because there is certain, like the first style you start off with the one-handed sword, is your dodge is like kind of just like a, I don't know, it's like a dash. You kind of like just dash and blue light comes out of you and you get through it, but it's not like all invincibility frames. And you can still block as well, and that drains your stamina. But what is pretty neat about it is you get certain, depending on where you are in the story, as you progress, you get things called blood codes, and your blood clot, your blood code is basically your class, and you can spend your souls or the, I don't even know what they're called technically. I forget the things you
Um,
pick up from enemies. You like basically like souls in Dark Souls,
yes,
like
Gotcha.
the blood whatever it
blood
is.
echoes.
Blood
Yep,
vials, souls.
that is
Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
I think it's called like blood something too. But you can
So,
spend those on different like abilities for your class, and like a big thing about the gameplay, which I thought was pretty sweet, because I never had a really point to use it in Dark Souls unless you were, like a pyromancer or some magic user class. But you have these abilities that you use in your class that you can spend your currency on, and you use those pretty frequently. Like there's an ability that increases your damage that you deal, another ability that activates that you can like stagger enemies quicker or faster. Um, you can use you ups your defense, pretty much like a bunch of buffs basically for you,
Yep.
and you get those by performing, like they have the backstab in this game as well, and it's really cool because depending on your class you've equipped, your backstab is different. Like for one I had recently equipped, it was like my guy would like go up behind him, he'd stab him, but then he'd go like "Ray," and like some big mask thing would go over his face, and he'd have a giant tail spike come out of his back and like skewer the guy, and like you got certain ammunition for your abilities from that.
Yeah,
Cool.
Anthony, what Anthony's referring to is the Icor.
Yeah.
So I know when we started playing together that first dungeon, Anthony was very in the people's face, with his attacks. So I was kind of hanging back and using my abilities, to assist in most of the encounters we got into, and then I would find myself low on Ecor, so then I'd have to jump in, and mine was like this: I'd power it up, and then just kind of swipe and like kind of, you know absorb Ecor from the enemies.
Did you have
So
like a claw?
yeah, I had a claw.
Okay, that was cool. I thought that was sweet how it changed, because there was like when I did it, they had the spike that came out of my back and like shot into like the people and then exploded, and then there
Yep.
was the claw that you could get, which is sweet.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool that you could find different ones that have, different things. It'll tell you how fast the attack is, and what's the charge time, because you got to hold it for a little bit before you release so that it could do its animation and attack.
Mhm.
Um I did find the tail one that you're talking about, Anthony, that like a tail shoots out of you and just skewers the enemy.
Mhm.
So at least for me, I think, how the visuals to the game. The Dark Souls games tend to be extremely dark and just kind of un at least for me, uninspiring after I'm getting killed millions of times.
Yeah, very bland, kind of
Very.
like, oh, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
y'all crazy. You just never get past the first level.
And I got pretty far in Bloodborne, and then I kept dying in the nightmare because that level sucks. It's too many
So
big
I,
spiders.
it looks kind of like a cell shaded type of thing. Definitely looks pretty colorful. I think it's got some pop in the costume
got
design.
it got
Oh
its
yeah,
pop in the anime colors right there,
I
and
was
I
a big
and,
fan. You
and
customizing
the,
the character, I was like, I'm gonna like this. The aesthetic, because it's very weird. It's like it's definitely a Dark Souls vibe or a Souls-like game vibe, but it's just very anime, like all
yeah,
over the place.
and the amount of options in your customization when you go to create your character is insane. I
I
think
was
I,
very
I
surprised.
think I gave my guy a monocle, and then and also he doesn't have a pupil in his eye, so
That's
then
awesome.
I thought it was cool.
I gave him the squall. Or no, that's I was like, you gave my guy like a scar. I think it is like over his eye. You can get the classic anime scars. You can get the
Mhm.
squall. You can just get like a big
I
cut.
gave I gave him like an X on his forehead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet. You can choose to like. It's funny because it says right there when you're customizing your character, it's like, oh, don't worry, you create whatever you want. Your accessories don't affect gear stats, because the only like armor you kind of get in the game are the things that change your backstab, which we were just talking about. They're called blood veils. So they're like little
Yeah.
coats, pretty much you put over, which is
Oh
like your
yeah.
armor. That change
Actually,
your skills and are like better for certain classes.
And the footage that Tyler was just is showing the viewers right now. Actually, you got to see that backstab real quick,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cool.
I like that too because you get all like if somebody's trying to attack you or if you're like getting jumped on and you're able to score like a backstab, that's all invincibility. It's just all invincibility frames, so attacks are just going through you.
Nope.
Wow, I did not know that the word of mouth around this game was as positive as it is. I'm like about to hit the buy button here.
I know,
Yeah,
right? I'm like looking
Yeah,
at it,
picked it
hearing
up
you guys
really.
talk about it, and it's like, geez, looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I just
Nope.
switched up the style too. I was playing is we were doing when me and Kenny were playing. I was doing the two-handed because one of the first styles you get is Berserker, and it was just plowing through the whole first level after I got it. You get this like cool two-handed hammer from the boss that he drops. I'm just plowing through these guys through the whole first level, and then I got to the second boss, which is this big butterfly chick, and she's just like pounding on me. She uses poison, and I'm not dodging because I'm too slow. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna step back. I went and checked out my gear I had, my classes, and you get a pretty cool class from like you actually get, which is pretty neat. Instead of summoning in Dark Souls, you just have a companion. Like you have a dude with you there the whole time if you're playing solo, or even in multiplayer.
Really?
You have that guy with us.
Well, I think that was only story based that he was with us. I think
Yeah.
afterwards he's not there if we're playing co-op.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have like a permanent, not like a. You can revive them. Well, you can't really revive them. You can like, oh, you can, but you use part of your health, which is cool if they like fall down. But it's really handy to have like a second like NPC there with you, and you get certain styles depending on like if you're friends with them or usually just story reasons.
Yep.
Cool. Well,
I was gonna
it's
say
on sale for 30 right now on the PS Store, Tyler. If you want to split it.
Oh, if you guys split
think
it,
I
you
might
guys
be
would get
down.
it exactly for what me and Anthony got it.
Yeah. 15.
You guys
which
got
was a great deal for
15,
that.
right? At Target.
Yep.
Oh, for the physical copies? Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, physical copies.
Yeah, I'd
I
probably be
grabbed
down.
Anthony.
I'd be down
It
for
was the
that.
last one.
And I want to go back and play it. I haven't touched it this week yet. So
Anthony, if they buy it, we might have to power rush through this, man, so we could beat it before them.
we're gonna have to. I get some pretty good progress, and I beat the second boss,
Alright.
and then
Challenge
Pretty much
accepted.
all right, hell yeah.
Nice.
So Code Rush, Code Vein, Blood Rush.
Yep.
Cool.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
that was Code Vein. Sounds very appealing. I think we all just decided to dive in. Anthony, did you want to talk about Nexamon a little bit?
It's great. If you like Pokemon, I love this game. Same thing. There's the only thing that sucks. There's no multiplayer. There's no like kind of interactivity, which sucks because I love trading monsters with my friends or playing with my friends. Not so much as the competitive level. Competitive is fun if you want to get into it. That is kind of like deterring, but I like the designs. They're neat. They're
How many are there?
There's 390 something little dudes. Actually, let me
Wow,
check. There is 380.
that's a lot.
Explore
like-
World.
Dang, there's a lot.
380.
Do they evolve?
They do, which is sweet. Most of them have like 3 evolutions, which is tight. I've just been going through like most of my playthrough is just going and looking and being like, oh, what's this one evolve into?
Hmm.
Because their designs are very. It was funny too because the game's made in Unity, but they're. I think it was also a mobile game that started out because I've been seeing it on my phone for like years, and then the animations in this are great for like a Pokemon spin-off rip-off game. It was. I'm having a great time with it. Just like sit and shut my brain off, kind of go back, and you get to go like just wander around the grass. It's cool because the grass, instead of in Pokemon, you're walking around, you can kind of get into a battle anywhere. This one, the grass actually shakes, so you can kind of plan your route out if you're like, oh, I don't want to battle anything. I'm low on health. And instead of like the PP points Pokemon have, all your guys have like a stamina meter. So every
Koopa
attack
points?
takes up stamina. Yeah, Koopa points.
Wait,
Yeah.
in the footage I was just pulling up, it looked like he was trying to catch one of these things.
Yeah.
And
can catch- yeah, 'cause when
he
you
had to
catch
do
him,
like
it's like
he had
this
to do
little
like quick he had to do
triangle.
like a quick time event or something.
Every time you catch them it's the same as which is really cool. It's a neat little feature is that you bring up the catch menu, and what I like is that it brings up a table that shows you how likely you are to catch it depending on whatever like source you're trying to catch it. They're called nexo traps. So depending on whatever nexo trap you have, because you can have a regular one, a golden one, which is like a master ball, which is hilarious, but you can get those like in quantity without having to cheat, which is sweet. And then there's type themed, so there's like water type, ghost type, plant type traps, and you can feed them to at any point in when you're fighting a wild one, you can feed it to have you like more or to have it like you more, and that'll increase your chance of catching it. But when you catch it, your like guy holds out his hand, and it's just this little triangle thing that like shoots out, just like a little triangle trap. And you do this little quick time event in your little glove where it's like XXBYX, It's like a random sequence of the buttons you have to press, and then you do that, and then you'll have a chance to catch it.
Okay. It kind of reminds me of when you did the sword strikes in Ghost of Tsushima. You had to hit the buttons in sequence.
Yeah,
That's
kind of.
awesome.
You should
That
do
was
a once you finish your first playthrough, you should do like a Nuzlocke of this.
And that'd be cool. I'd be
A
down to do
Nuzlocke
that.
of
'Cause
Nexomon.
your guys, my guys, I cannot count how many times they die. They go down so quick in the beginning. That'd be very challenging Nuzlocke. Did you get like 2 hits in? And they're like, and I don't really know if there's a type chart because I keep trying to look for a typing chart because it's very Pokemon type. This beats this, but it's like besides the classic like fire and or like water beats fire, and there's like mineral, which is their ground type, plant, which is grass, uh, psychic, ghost. There's a lot of all their ghost ones are sweet. I chose. You could choose any starter, which is really cool. They give you a pool of one of every type as a starter. So I chose the ghost starter, which is like this little thing called Behilda, and it's just little purple jacket with like black string arms, and it's just holding its head. It's awesome.
Cool. Well,
I
that's
recommend it.
yeah, and it's like what, like $1 on phones if people want to check it out?
Yeah, it's like $1 on your phone. You can just check it out, or it's like $20 digital.
Yo, in
On Switch.
in this footage, this guy just freaking traded one of his mons for like an item.
Oh yeah, you can catch. You'll have random people like
What
NPCs
the
in the
heck?
world that have stars over their head, where you can trade. They're like, oh, let's trade some stuff, and they'll like either be people that want certain items that you can trade for other items, or they're like, yeah, can I just buy this Nexomon off you, and I want to catch it, and it's like, well, okay, I can go catch another one.
That's kind of.
I'm checking it out on the Play Store right now, and it's got over 1 million downloads. It's got a lot of 5-star reviews. The second most reviews are 1 star, but
I like the. I'm not sure if the phone version has the same kind of like quality of the animations, but I really like how they do it in the game. I really think there's probably more animations in this game than there are in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
No surprise there. No surprise there. Okay, so that's Nexomon, the Pokemon, Pokemon Poke-like. So I've been talking the last few weeks about Spearfair and Tony Hawk. I'm happy to say that I finally beat Spearfair last night. Didn't know if I was going to get there, honestly. Like, not because I didn't mostly love it. I did. It's still going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year. I have almost no doubt. But it does drag a little bit at times. Like when you're just needing one more glass sheet, but you don't have the type of metal dust that you need to sail back to the other side of the island and talk to the stupid fucking walrus again. Get a little annoying, but overall, I do think that the back half of the spirits that you're guiding are less engaging than the first few, and this is personal preference. I like the first few characters more than the last few, but overall, really solid game. And Tyler, I'm curious, how did you feel about the fast travel walrus?
I used it a lot. I mean, I used it pretty much every time I needed to travel a considerable distance. I'm like, all right, where is the bus stop? Bring me to the bus stop first.
Did you get the achievement for riding him 50 times?
I have no idea.
I did right at the end. It was right at the end. I got the achievement, and I think it was only like 4% of people have done that. So I was like,
oh really?
Yeah,
must have been using them a lot.
Yeah, because I think you played it more maybe disciplined than me. Because how long did it take you? Because it took me damn near 30 hours.
Probably about the same.
Oh yeah.
Not sure if there's a way that I can check how much time I played it.
I wonder, but overall, really solid. Continuing to grind away at Tony Hawk. I almost hit 2 million last night in a 2-minute run. I got to 1.9, which put me in the top 2,000 on the level of the hangar, which felt pretty good. Got my first over 1 million point combo. Still got a lot to learn. It's kind of like annoying now, where I'm just like, I'm a perfectionist, and if I will bail on my first trick, I just restart. And like even if my first combo is like under 400,000 points, I'm like, oh shit. And
go back.
Yeah, so it's a little, I'm like, I got the muscle memory of hitting start, pressing down, pressing X like Brum, brum, like just the retry being such a seminal part of like post-game Tony Hawk. But that's about it for me. I just started Tell Me Why, which is the new Don't Nod game. I only played the first 45 minutes or so. I like what I've seen so far, but I'll have a lot more to say about that next week.
Tell me
Anybody
what
else?
Like what's it have to do with the title? Tell me why. Like, is it a what kind of game?
So, the kind of game it is Life is Strange. If most people know by now, it's sort of a quasi choose your own adventure adventure game where you're walking around talking to folks, making big decisions in people's lives, or being a jerk or being really nice, and having pretty drastic different endings of chapters / just story progression in general. There's usually kind of a twee sort of soundtrack, and a lot of times dealing with angsty teenage stuff. That's the Life is Strange 1 and 2. So Tell Me Why kind of picks up where that one lets off. I will say in the very first scene, if you want to go in completely blind, maybe mute me. But the very first scene is it's 2005, and it's a detective interviewing a young child, and the child confesses to murdering his mom because you don't really know exactly why. You get the idea that she was a really bad mom, and it was sort of in self-defense. And then you fast forward 10 years later, you're getting released from juvie. The character is transgender man. His sister picks him up, who's his twin, and they're going back to their house that they're trying to sell. And that's sort of where I'm at. Like that there's going to be some sort of mystery, and they have telepathy. What's the word? They can talk to each other. Yes,
Telepathy.
with their minds. Yes, and they can like see things and like almost see memories, and that's sort of Life is Strange 1. You had the power to rewind time. In 2, you had the power to just destroy shit. And that seems to be kind of the supernatural element, is sort of telepathy with your sister.
That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. So far it seems good, and they did a really smart thing. They kept it episodic, but they had all 3 chapters out in 3 weeks. So no waiting for 2.5 months for the next episode to drop. So, and it's all in Game Pass. People want to check that out, as well as I know Life is Strange 2. That's how I played it on Game Pass. I think it's still on there. Also recommend.
Definitely. Cool.
Anybody else got any other games, or should we wrap it up?
Yeah, nothing big. I know we tried what's it, Spellbreak a little bit. So kind of trying that, getting used to it. Played a little bit more Among Us with some people here and there. Yeah, pretty much the same as last week.
Among Us is blowing up.
Yeah, it's huge now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had to like expand all their servers that they have, because it was probably like a week ago. So you have to put in a code, and if you're entering into private matches, that was only like 4 letters long a week ago, and I think now it's like 6 letters long. Wow. So they must have like had to add like a bunch more server space.
That's funny.
That's wild.
Yeah, they're talking about it.
And a lot of times we end up
podcasts.
Yeah, a lot of times we trying to get into a North American server, but we can't even get into one. So then we just have to switch servers to like Europe in order to actually even play.
That's where the good stuff's at. You gotta go European server.
Wow. Well, I will download it on my phone, and we will give it a shot this week.
Yes.
It's like PlayStation 13.
And I think you said it's free on phones. It's like $5 on PC.
Yep.
You can remove the ads for a couple bucks on phones. Cool.
Yeah, we've got a whole crew that we've been playing with.
I finally got my chance to be the killer yesterday, and I was
ruined it for me. He was the bad. He was a bad imposter.
I didn't know how to lie in our turn, but I was murdering people. Like, I saw Tyler murder somebody because we were both imposters, and I was like, "Oh, I got mine." And then I saw like Kate, his girlfriend Caitlin, going to go find the body, like she was about to find the body, murdered her and walked away. I was like, no, you're not reporting this body. Me and Tyler were about to catch one more body before they find these things.
That's
Are
wild.
you guys real serious about like when the game tells you not to talk that you don't talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where
Kinda
that's where the fun is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd be a really bad liar. I don't know if I'd be. Maybe I'll check it out.
Anthony would just like giggle.
You did.
Killer.
I didn't kill. I didn't kill him.
I didn't kill him. I was looking at my phone the whole time.
I didn't need the body in the electrical room.
Check it out. I put it in a cool position. They look like they're puking.
Oh,
All right.
Alrighty, that has been episode 171 of the
Episode
Level With
1,
You
we're
show.
back. All the way around. We made it, guys. We made it. It's like season 2.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're watching or listening, get it on the podcast services. If just even if you already watched it, why not? Just double up,
Let's do it.
double your fun. All right. See you next time, y'all.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.